It's late 2020 people, fast approaching 2021, and if I'm going to put out my 2021 list of guns for BF5, then I really need to get this late 2020 list done now, otherwise what's going to be the point? So these are my best guns for each class in Battlefield 5 at this point, not the best guns for everyone out there or for you or whatever, because that's impossible. Make up your own mind and leave your list in the comments below. I hope this list helps you out or entertains you, and we'll see how it changes by the time 2021 comes around. By the way, the current goal for the channel is to hit 60k subscribers, currently sitting at 56k, so getting close. So if you're new here or want to see more, hitting that subscribe button would be awesome. And now a quick word about the sponsor of today's video before we get into the list, Opera GX. You guys are gamers, that's why you're here, and so I'm excited to show you the first browser specifically tailored for gamers. With Opera GX, you've got features such as the GX control, allowing you to enhance the performance of your PC while your browser is still running, so you won't lose all your open tabs or anything, by limiting the RAM, CPU, and bandwidth usage of the browser, meaning you don't hurt your gaming experience. You've then got the GX Corner, which actively keeps you up to date with free games, the best deals around, and a release calendar for upcoming games, helping you to expand your gaming outlook and have new experiences just by using this browser. You can also integrate your social media and messaging tools, log into Twitch, Discord, WhatsApp, and more, all from the sidebar, and get notifications for each of them directly through Opera GX as a central hub. And you can customize all of this to your liking, whether it be forcing dark mode pages, adding background music, or just tuning the basic aesthetic and backgrounds for the browser. You can really make this your browser for your needs, all while using less of your PC's capabilities and keeping gaming as the primary focus. So show Opera GX some support for sponsoring this video. I only advertise things I think hold actual value for some of you guys out there. Download the browser for free from the link in the description or pinned comment, and then leave me a comment letting me know how you're finding it. I'll reply to a few that catch my eye. Enjoy Opera GX. Okay, kicking us off is the Assault class, and it's the Carabin 1938M. If you're a long-term viewer of this channel, you may well know that I love this much underappreciated weapon, or at least much underappreciated in my humble opinion. This is my easy slap people about assault option for when I don't want to worry about the range of the fight and still have a solid chance of coming out on top regardless of the engagement I take on. A large reason for that is it just being absolutely ridiculously easy to use. Now, I am on console using a controller where recoil is more of a factor. On PC, it may well be that the Carabin's value is hurt a bit due to weapons being easier to control overall, but either way, there's no denying that this thing is just insanely stable. If I miss a shot, it's purely my fault, or I'm simply spamming the bullets out as fast as I can, knowing they're still going to end up in pretty much the right area, and that enemy is likely to take a killing blow from something I'm putting downrange eventually. So for sheer ease of use and the ability to contest at long ranges, this is my go-to right now. The maps of BF5 are generally very large and open, which means the Carabin is a viable option a lot of the time. An automatic assault option will be far more lethal at close range, but as alluded to, when I want to simply run around rather than trying to keep within closer to mid-range areas, the Carabin is my baby for dropping anyone I see pretty much anywhere. But maybe you want some lethality numbers. Alright, well, see, semi-autos are already insanely potent and easy to use overall as a weapon archetype in BF5, just the way they're balanced, and then consider that this one is even smoother than most, fires at 300 rounds per minute, and only needs 3 bullets to kill all the way out to 100 meters, and then 4 beyond that. If you aren't sure why I think that's such a powerful combination, just by hearing the numbers, then hopefully the footage is a solid illustration of what it can do in the right hands. I almost never feel outgunned, just land those shots and you're golden. But also just be aware you'll be reloading fairly often, so move cover to cover whenever possible and pick your moments wisely. As for the specializations I use, here's a quick look. We've got quick aim, custom stock, lighten stock, and recoil buffer. It's a dream for me to use. But onto our next class, and it's medic, featuring the well gun. Now, if you saw my recent live commentary video on BF5, you'll remember I said I'd be making this video about the guns I was using if people wanted me to. Thus, here we are. And someone did comment on that very video about how I wasn't totally satisfied with the well gun when it was released, which is true, but it wasn't about the performance as such. It was about it being almost totally a clone of another gun in terms of its stats. I believe that gun is the EMP, so I felt like it was kind of a waste in that regard, but that hasn't stopped it from becoming my current favorite SMG. After all, the EMP has always been been a really solid gun anyway, and one that deserves more attention. So a gun that's nearly a clone of it getting some of the limelight now seems like a solid result overall. So it's not the fastest killing SMG out there, nor is it the most potent at range or whatever, but what it is extremely solid in a variety of circumstances, somewhat toeing the middle ground for lethality among the weapon class. And much like my assault choice for this list, it's easy to use. There's very little recoil correction to be done, and to reiterate, this footage is all with a controller. It's just very stable. Then on top of that is another important factor, aesthetics. Sometimes we connect with the gun partially because of how it looks and feels. It's a factor that has nothing to do with the actual weapon's numbers or in-game performance, but enjoying those untangible aspects of a weapon can make a big difference. And for me, the World Gun really fits that role with the customization I've done of it. My favorite looking SMG in the game. And so to round out, here's a look at how my specializations are set up to produce the results you've seen in the footage. Quick aim, custom stock, light and stock, and barrel bedding. Really playing into my desire to be mobile whilst being a heavy ADS user, but with the hipfire still feeling at least decent, try it out. Alright, moving on to support, and as much as I'd like to give you some niche or anti-meta option, I can't. It's the Lewis gun. Because as many will be aware, this gun has been a really good LMG option pretty much all the way through BF5's existence. Solid fire rate and bullets to kill, manageable recoil, which can be vastly improved by learning how much to pull down or even utilizing some form of burst firing when applicable. It can be used for holding down an area or some form of support run and gunning, and you may be noticing a pattern on this list. A lot of it comes down to the guns being versatile, not just because it's effective, but because it's more fun for me personally to be able to go and do whatever I want with the gun in that round, regardless of who or what I'm up against. But more so than that is something I've touched on a few times in the past. The Lewis gun is really the only LMG in BF5 that I feel truly fulfills that traditional role that LMGs have on many a first-person shooter. You know, large magazine and the ability to fire off a load of rounds, fill up the feed with kills, or lay down suppressive fire. The Lewis gun has the option of 47 rounds per reload or 97 rounds per reload. You can now use something like the Madsen with 40 rounds, but that's still not exactly a huge amount. It is still less than the Lewis gun, and even that requires using the extended mag spec. Not to mention that gun plays pretty differently to the Lewis gun anyway. Really the only other way to grab a big magazine in the support class on BF5 is to use an MMG, and then you lose that mobile play focused aim down sight aspect that you have with an LMG. So the Lewis gun just ticks all the right boxes for me in the class that I personally think feels kinda lacking in this iteration of Battlefield. And here's a look at the specializations I used for this footage. Quick aim, ported barrel, barrel bedding, and recoil buffer. And so we finally come to the Recon class, and probably the most contentious decision for this list. I know this won't even be close to a lot of people's first choice for Recon, but it is mine, and the logic is solid if you give me a chance to explain. This is the M3 Infrared, and I love it. It provides the ability to be a mobile and pretty aggressive recon while still maintaining genuine range capability, if you can manage to retain accuracy while utilizing a high rate of fire. Of course, something like the ZH-29 is still an absolute monster, and perhaps at some point in the future, that weapon will take the top spot for me again. But as of right now, the M3 is my go-to, and it's basically an M1A1 from the assault class, but with an infrared scope. The stats are there to back me up if you want to go and find the truly detailed ones on sim.gg. So yeah, this is a spammable death machine with a scope on it. Now the apparent downside of that is you can't remove the scope even if you'd like to, and you are stuck with the infrared, which many people don't like, and I completely understand and accept that. And I honestly thought it was going to be better at highlighting the enemy. It does actually make it harder to see than a normal scope at times, but if you do catch a glimpse of movement and you manage to land a bullet on the enemy while using the sniper combat role, well, the enemy now gets marked with a red icon above them, of course spotting them as well, meaning that's then the only item of color on your entire screen through that scope, and it's super easy to focus on it and track the enemy. So yes, I'm willing to deal with the infrared scope to have overall a scoped M1A1 on the Recon class with flares. And I get that won't work for everyone, but my results have been fantastic. Plus, I just really enjoy the thing. It's fun. And that's my main go-to on this game now, trying to have fun. So here's a look at my specialization choices for the M3 currently. Quick aim, custom stock, light and stock, and slings and swivels. And so with that, you have my list. Those are my personal best guns on BF5 for each class in late 2020. So now absolutely go and leave me your list in the comments below so we can all compare what we enjoy, and I hope you you enjoyed this video. If you did, hitting the like and subscribe buttons would be appreciated, and all the links to my Twitch and social media such as Twitter, Discord, etc. can be found in the description and my pinned comment. And with all that said, I'm GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters. Nope, flinch. Nope.
Uh-oh.
This is way too... There's a... Oh my god, how didn't I notice that? Am I blind? I might be blind. Bayonet away! That was that horse again. Oh my god, it's all cracking off. No, someone sees me. Stop. Oh, this is madness. This is absolute madness.